Hey booktube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me and this is the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name is Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So, I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and the continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have my weekly wrap up. This is for week 7, and these are the dates February 9th through February 15th. I actually completed some shit, and I started some more shit, and I made some dents in some shit. So, I did some stuff. So, if you'd like to find out what encompassed my week from February 9th through February 15th, and all my reading shenanigans in between, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a seat, and let's get talking some books. Okay. So yes, it was a very productive week. The week of Valentine's Day. It was very, very productive. I completed 2 books, made a serious dent in a 3rd one, and started 2 new ones. So, I'm making my way through, guys. So let's start off with what I completed. So the first book I completed, actually, I don't think this is the first book I completed, but, you know, the first one on my list here is Beautiful Creatures. This is by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stohl. I gave this thing 4 stars. This is the first installment to the Castor Chronicles. This is a YA paranormal romance. Came out a long time ago. It's already been turned into a film, at least this one is. Coming of age story, a lot of teen angst. I would even go to say there's kind of like a fated mate angle into this. And I listened to this on audio. And the audio was done by Kevin T. Collins. That was the main narrator. And I had a really good time with this. Really good time. So, quick summary. This story is already been out there for quite a while. So, this is just a little rough summary of this book. We follow Ethan Waite and Lena Duquesne. Lena is a girl who's close to turning 16. And when she turns 16, she has to go through what her family calls the claiming, because she is a caster. She has magical powers. And at the claiming, they decide if you are claimed for good or claimed for evil. And this happens to every 16-year-old witch in her family line. Except her specific part of the family tree, the Duquesnes, they have this prophecy about them, this air about them that they're going to go dark because they've all gone dark. Ethan lives in a town called Gatlin, and that's where these two meet, because Lena is moving into Gatlin to live with her reclusive uncle, Macon Ravenwood. And he's kind of the town shut-in. Ethan Waite is a townie. He is from there. He was born there. His dad is from there. His mother, however, is not, but his mother has passed away. So he kind of has a stigmatism all on his own as the kid whose mom passed away in a serious car accident. And he wants to get out. He wants to see the world. He doesn't want to stay put in Gatlin. But when him and Lena meet, there is a domino effect that they are not aware of, because nobody wants to tell these teenagers a goddamn thing about their lives. And that's kind of where our story starts. So what worked? The audiobook. I loved this audiobook. I absolutely ate this thing up. They had sound effects and audio effects, so we heard like the thunder and the lightning storms, and there's this little element in the story where there's this song that plays, 16 Moons, 16 Years, and they actually play this fucking song, and it was dope. I loved it. That made my heart sing, and I was all in from that. And also, it's from, this story is told primarily from the male's perspective, which is super refreshing. Anyway, because I love male audiobooks anyway, I just prefer them, just how I am. But that audiobook was phenomenal. I had a great, great time with the audiobook. And I do plan on continuing the rest of the series on audio, because the next installment, which is, I think, Beautiful Darkness, is also narrated by, what's his name? Kevin T. Collins. And he did a great, fantastic job. I said that this whole book was from primarily Ethan's perspective, which I really, really enjoyed that. I had a blast with that. I am used to young adult books being from the female's perspective. Okay, it was a huge, huge thing when these books came out, and to have this one come out and be from like guys, I thought was great. God, it was so nice to see the male's perspective and be just as fucking clueless. Like, all this shit is happening to Lena. Like, she is the catalyst. All this drama, all this serious shit is happening to her, but we're seeing it from the guy's perspective and just kind of like the bystander, like, I can't do fuck all to help you, but I want to. And we're used to having, you know, the heroine saying, oh, I don't want to get you hurt, blah, blah, blah. Now we're seeing the response of it and like the internal struggles. And I just fucking really appreciated that. Thought that was great. Really hope the next book is just like that because it was awesome. I really, really, really enjoyed that. I love the caster world created. I thought that was awesome. I love this. Granted, you know, 16, you're still a baby, okay? You're still a baby, but it was nice to know that, see other generations that have gone through the exact same thing and how it kind of played out for them. Not just her being the only one. Like we've seen how it's played out in other generations. So we learned a little bit more about that caster world that was created through that. And this like chosen one kind of element was definitely had a unique take on it. It was very interesting. I really liked the idea that they didn't have free choice or free will, but yet the entire book, they are struggling with this concept of choice and do we have free will or do we not? The claiming based off the prophecy, she is going to go dark, but then we find out there's a way to do it. But if you choose this, you're still choosing a negative connotation. So is it really free will? Like, where does the free will really fucking come from? And I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed this family lineage kind of pressure that Lena experienced and Ethan had to kind of witness and kind of deal with. Ethan was not part of this family, but he saw the familiar pressure of go this way, do this, do this, do this. They want to encourage, they want to protect, but at the same time, they're not letting their new generations flourish because of the hardships that they dealt with. So they're trying to prevent that. And I really enjoy this tug and pull between the caster world, the caster rules, and then you have this just genuine humanity function in this story. I thought it was really good. And it wasn't so in your face that you felt like, oh, this is philosophical. It's very muted, but if you're looking for it, you can find it. And if you don't want to see it, you don't. She hit it, they hit it. This is two authors, sorry. They hit it and they showed it for the people who wanted to see it and the people who didn't. It was a very, very caster-esque of them in this story. I liked it. I liked the unique fated mate idea. I would not go to say this is a true fated mate, okay? I would not go to say this. Fated soulmate type thing. But there is a reincarnation version of this, and they utilize that kind of technique, and I thought that was really cool. But they didn't do it entirely the same. And I enjoyed how they interjected that in, and it wasn't just all given to you at one foul swoop. They gave you bits and pieces as the story progressed, and then you kind of started to see how this original relationship formed, and you're comparing it without even realizing to how this relationship is forming. And it's kind of forming in the same way. You have worlds that are warring against each other. They are not wanted. They don't want to belong together. But back then it was because of this reason. Back then, now it's because of this reason. And it's just, I really enjoyed the reincarnation twist of the previous couple that caused all of this drama to go on. And I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed the romance in this. Yes, it is young adult, so there's a very slow burn, a lot of angst, okay? But I like the fact that Ethan was just a decent guy. Like, he's a 16-year-old kid, but he's not a fucking dick, all right? He's not. Not all 16-year-old guys are fucking pricks and out to get ass all the time. They're not. Some of them are fucking decent, and Ethan's one of them. Eddie's smart. Eddie wanted her to excel and have all the things that a normal kid had. And I really appreciated that about him. I enjoyed that very much about Ethan. He was one of my favorite parts of this book. And the fact that it was pretty much all from his perspective made me like this book even more. I had a really, really good time with it. However, I only gave this thing 4 stars because there were some things that I found that didn't quite work. As much as I love the caster world and the history behind it and kind of the storyline behind it, I really needed more fleshing out of that world to really understand the big twist at the end. There's a lot. There's a lot that happens in this book, but it's very minor compared to the end. And at the end, it's just like bam, 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 bam. And if you are not up on your caster shit, you're gonna get lost. You're gonna get lost, and I feel like the caster world just need to be fleshed out a little bit more. More of the rules, more of the history about it, more of the unique elements of it, the different types of casters. They all needed to be kind of given a little bit more time to be understood and processed with, a little bit more scenes with the different types, because they all come into play at the very end. And I just felt like the very end there was so much going on, and I didn't have the best concept and grasp of everything that was going on, so I was missing out on things. And I didn't want to do that because it was a culminating scene, and I wanted to be in it. And because I wasn't as fully ingratiated in the caster world that I felt I needed to be, I felt like I lost some of that oomph and that pain that you're supposed to feel at the end of the story. Or at least the end of this installment, because it is a series. So there is a cliffhanger ending. Not a very big one, but there is one. Which brings me to that the twist ending, it just really wasn't as satisfying as I felt it needed to be. I mean, we're spending this entire book with Lena complaining and whining and fearful that she's going to go dark. That she's going to go dark. I'm going to go dark. I'm going to go dark. And then we find out all the ins and outs, and you're like, huh? And it just, everything happened so fast that you didn't have time to process it, and it just kind of left you like, what the fuck just happened? But not in a like shocking, like, oh my God, that did not just fucking happen kind of way. It's more of like, I'm sorry, what the fuck just happened? We're done now? That was oddly not satisfying. So that was a little depressing, and that knocked it down a peg. I really want to give this 5 stars, but that ending just didn't hit the way I think it was supposed to. And that really sucks. That really sucks. I'm not going to give this a spice rating because there's a few heavy kisses in it, but other than that, it's YA, and I'm sure there's going to be spice later, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of spice. And I don't think it's going to be, mind-blowing. So I didn't give a spice rating to this installment. However, I do need to make a point to say this. I saw this film before I read this book. And I liked this movie before I read this book. And then I rewatched said film again after I read this book. I understand now why they did not make any more of this series, because they done fucked this movie 7 ways till Sunday. I understand why a lot of people had a problem with this movie now. Oh my God. I understand entirely. If you have not read this book, this movie's decent. It's fine. It's not anything to write home about, but it's decent. But if you read this book, this film does not do any good representation of this book. So if you are judging this book series based off of this film alone, throw it out. Throw it the fuck out and go in this blind, because there is so much more. I mean, I understand that film representations of books, there's like, you have the iceberg, you have the tip of the iceberg, but everything under the water is where the book is. Okay, that's not just this movie. They omit characters, they rework scenes to be different people, different things happen, and there are characters that are just blatantly fucking forgotten. There's a lot of fucking holes in this. So if you liked this movie, but you're like, I'm not going to read the book series because I like the movie, you're going to like the book a hell of a lot more because it's going to give you more. But if you've read this book and you were debating watching the movie, don't watch this movie because you're just going to piss yourself off, okay? Unless you want to watch it while you're drunk and you want to hate watch this thing, be my guest. But I do admit that the actors in this film did a fantastic fucking job with the script that they were given, but the script they were given was not the book. All right? Straight up. But I do plan on continuing with the rest of the series. Definitely on audiobook. I had a good time with this. All in all, I gave this 4 stars. This was fun. This was a fun one to read. A gothic, southern gothic not fairy tale, but like witchy novel. So I'm excited to carry on with it for sure. Yeah. And I also really like that song. 16 moons, 16 years. That was fucking dope. I love that. And then you actually get to hear the whole song in like a rock version on the audio. That was dope. Oh my God, that was awesome. Yes. All the yes. That was a dope scene. Not in the movie, by the way. Not in the movie. Thanks. All right, the next book I completed was Sin Wagon by Cassie Lynn, and I gave this thing 3 stars. I am reading this for a local bookshop's book club. They have a spicy book club, and this is their first installment, so I picked it up, and I plan on going to it and talking with them about it, but this is also the first installment to Sinner's Delight, so that's the reason I picked this book up. I probably wouldn't have picked this book up on my own. I'm just going to be honest with you. We do have an age gap. We have surprise pregnancy. We have a definitely keep it in the family kind of feel on this book. And graphic sexual content and child verbal abuse on page. So we feature Delilah, aka Opal. She is a stripper for fun and for extra money. And she gives a private dance to a man who's on business in Vegas. And he is smitten with her. He is smitten. His name is Wells. Wells is 17 years older than Opal, but it does not stop him from falling for her. So after their dance, they continue to talk and chat and have a good time, and then they make their way to an alley, and they have a very, very feisty and hot one-night stand against the back alley wall, okay? Numbers are exchanged, and then Opal says, hey, you need to call me because I'm not going to wait around. Well, when both parties are drunk, sometimes numbers don't get put in correctly. And time passes where they don't have any contact with each other. But guess what? They're still tied because Opal, aka Delilah, has found out that she is pregnant. Now, she's invited to her mother's wedding, and at this wedding, she reunites with Wells, but in a very much different capacity than she believes. Not only does she learn some family secrets, but she learns some of his family secrets, and they are very much intertwined. And that's where our story really kicks off. So, what worked? Derek. Derek is our gay best friend, okay? He is Delilah's gay best friend. He's fucking awesome. He is a true friend through and through. I love him. I want a whole story just from him, okay? I could do the whole story from him. I want his romance because I like this guy. He's fun and he is a dope friend. Like, seriously, this is the kind of friend everybody deserves to have. I just loved him. He made a lot of moments in this book very tolerable. Very, very tolerable. I really enjoyed the ownership of the situation. So Delilah did something stupid. She had a one-night stand. And it is clearly said in the book, and I'm going to spoil this, so I'm sorry. It's clearly said in the book, oh, I can just take plan B tomorrow. You're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot. But thank you for at least owning up to the situation and, taking responsibility for it because of your own stupidity. Okay? When this happens, this is the very beginning of the book. I wanted to stop reading this book at this point because I was like, I do not feel bad for this bitch at all. I do not. I don't. I have said this to I don't know how many girlfriends. There is not an orgasm on this face of this fucking planet that is worth carrying a bullet for 9 months and then tied to for 18 years. Sorry, it's just not. There's absolutely no orgasm on the face of the planet that's worth that. That is a soapbox I will fucking die on, okay? I will die on. The fact that you openly said, I'll just take plan B tomorrow instead of going back to the hotel and getting fucking condoms or going back to your place and getting condoms. Obviously, you were sober enough to think about this and to stop for a minute to say that. No, I don't feel fucking sorry for you. So I was already annoyed with the character of Delilah to begin with. So the fact that she acknowledges that she fucked up, she says, hey, this is on me. I did a stupid thing and I need to take responsibility for it. So I'm going to do this. And she spends the rest of the book doing just that. So she redeemed herself in my eyes a little bit. Still a fucking stupid decision. Also, when Wells finds out, he keeps his promise of being there. once the whole sheboggle of, you know, not getting in touch with each other is finally brought to light or whatever, he never breaks his promise, and he's always there. He takes care of her. He takes care of the baby. He wants to be there, but he doesn't force it on her. He doesn't say, oh, well, I'm going to take you to court, blah, blah, blah. He lets her kind of come, he lets her kind of come to him. He's a little bit more dominant than that, but he's very understanding when it comes to that she's been doing this on her own, and I'm going to respect her for doing that. She has her own plans. She has her own ways. I haven't been there. I'm not going to fuck with her shit, but I would like to know the name of the baby. I like to, you know, have some kind of say in that now that I'm here before the baby comes. I like that he kept his promise, and she, you know, took responsibility for the situation. And then when he found out of the situation, he took responsibility for the fucking situation. Like, they both took responsibility for a fucked up situation that should never exist in the first place. Okay? Another thing that worked in this book was the craziness of this story. This definitely makes you feel something. Whether it is shock, being uncomfortable, sympathy, or just playing you're a fucking idiot. It does make you feel something, and it does pull something at you. So I definitely enjoyed the roller coaster that this story was. Was it super emotionally investing? No. Was I exhausted after reading it emotionally? No. But I did definitely go through a roller coaster with it. And some of these characters, main characters too, kind of with me had to earn their, you know, dignity back with me. They did, because of just stupid choices they made, family members. And there were some characters that were just not fucking redeemable at all. And they're one of the reasons that this book did not work. And that was Claudia. Claudia is Delilah's mother. She worked as a villain. She was set up as kind of the villain of the story. You're not supposed to like her. Mission accomplished. I don't fucking like the bitch. However, the grouping of people that you put her in surrounded by, there is not a single one of those characters that was written that would have tolerated her insanity and her fucking bullshit. Okay? Just fucking wouldn't have done it, especially her daughter. Her daughter was headstrong. Her daughter had a backbone. Her daughter knew what she wanted and knew how to get it. And the entire time, she's like, I should just probably hang with the phone. I shouldn't even answer it. No, you fucking shouldn't. You know you shouldn't. You know she's psycho. You know she's fucking crazy. You don't have to give her shit. You are a grown-ass fucking woman. So be it. So be it. Because you weren't trying to turn the other cheek and give her the benefit of the doubt. You never did that. When you went to her, you just did it as a petty way to insult her and be just as big of a cunt to her as she is to you. Well, two wrongs don't make a fucking right, and you just make everybody around you fucking miserable, alright? That was really fucking annoying. Because it made me just, Claudia was a bitch. She was designed to be a bitch, but I was supposed to relate to Delilah. I was supposed to understand Delilah. I was supposed to feel for Delilah. And there's a lot of times in this book I thought she was just being really fucking stupid or really fucking petty, and I didn't appreciate either fucking one of them. So, and most of them revolved around Claudia. So, without spoiling this book too much, there is not actual incest in this book, but there is step-cest. We'll go with that. And when this big, huge thing is revealed, yeah, it's shocking to people. But we're all just gonna sit with it and think, like, kumbaya, it's gonna be fine, we're gonna be a big fucking family? What? Shut up. No, you're fucking not. No, no. When all the secrets came out, there was not one talk. There's not one conversation, not one word spoken about paternity tests. Okay? We found out multiple paternity level secrets, okay? Not a single person, and all of these people have fucking money. And not one of you fuckers is gonna ask for a paternity test, knowing that this bitch Claudia, who started all this shit, is fucking batshit crazy. No. No, that's bullshit. So that was like flag number one to me. I'm like, okay, so we're not actually going to really flesh this out and acknowledge this big, huge fucking elephant in the room. That you are pregnant with your step-uncle's baby. And you just found out who your dad is. Like, no, we're not gonna acknowledge that. We're just gonna, I just want to be called grandma. I'm not ready to be a great grandma. Fuck you! fuck you. Like, that's the most awkward thing we're gonna get. No. I didn't buy that at all. I did not buy that at all. It could have been so much more dramatic. Like, seriously? Come on. Come on. But the thing is, the thing that they brought more drama in with, they didn't need to do. The author did not need to bring in this other element of drama when she already had this, like, fucking trifecta of drama here. And then she wants to throw another layer on that really isn't necessary at all. You could have just still used this. Like, you didn't need anything else, but this other thing just took away from this, is all it did. And this is what you really needed to flesh out and work out and actually have that emotional heart-to-heart with. So I was like, no. You're not going to drop this and then glaze it over. That makes it a shock value point, and that's not worth it to me. Just not. Already kind of briefly touched on this, that the whole in the alleyway where it said, oh, I'll just take plan B. I lost majority of my respect for Delilah in that point. And that's the very beginning of the book. So for the rest of the book, I already have a bad taste in my mouth for her. Although she was taking responsibility for her decisions, she was trying her heart. She was trying. She did get petty every once in a while. It's just that initial decision. I was like, that is how little you care about your person. Your own person. Like, what? Okay. All right. Okay. Fantastic. Also, you didn't get his fucking number. You didn't get his number. You only gave him yours. And you did not wait in that moment to get his. Because if you would have done that, you would have realized, oh, I gave the wrong fucking number. And the majority of this would have been alleviated. Stupid decisions. I don't like it. I don't like it. No orgasm is worth that. None. For a spice scale, I gave this 3 chili peppers. It was a pretty hot book, I'm not gonna lie. We are getting that graphic content right from the start. I mean, that hookup is like chapter 1. Like, it is in your face right there. You know this book is gonna be hot in the sex scenes. These sex scenes are fucking great. They are written well. I enjoyed them. They were awesome. Multiple locations. We also have pregnancy sex, which is always interesting to read. I have never been pregnant, so I have no idea what pregnancy sex feels like or looks like, but it's always interesting to read in books. And of course, you have your little taboo elements of, you know, possible step incest type deal. But again, we glazed over it, so the whole kind of dark humor jokes we could have made weren't made. You know, we're just not going to talk about the elephant in the room, which pretend didn't fucking happen. Like, that's annoying. So, but I gave this thing 3 stars. I don't know if I'm going to continue with this series. I might. I don't know. It wasn't something I would have gone to pick up on my own, so I don't really know. But it's there. It was interesting. It wasn't anything to write home about, but it wasn't bad either. So. The next book I made a significant dent in was Helen of Troy. I'm still working on it, but I made a large... Okay, so this doesn't look very large, but it is large for the way Margaret George writes, because she writes very dense and very full, long pages. But I am really having a good time with it. She's finally met Paris, and she's escaped. So shit's starting to go fucking down. Again, a woman who made really stupid fucking choices for orgasms. All right? Thank you. You know... There you go. And the next book that I did start on audio was Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver. This is the second installment to the Ruinous Love trilogy. So far we have murder and cannibalistic torture. And I am having a good time with this one. It's not as shocking as Butcher and Blackbird. Okay, it is not. But it's so far where I'm at in it, I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying Lachlan a lot. I like him. I liked him in the first book too. I kind of like the few scenes we got from him. The setup for this book though was a little bit lacking compared to the first one, but that is just a setup, and I'm not completely way through it, so I might vindicate it, override it. We're not really into the big crux of the book yet, so still trying to meddle my way through it, but so far it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't really care for the female narrator that much. I'm not a fan of her performance, but hopefully that will get alleviated once I actually really start to get to know the character of Lark, for sure. And the other book I started was The Unmarked Witch by Miranda Lynn, and it looks like this. This is the first installment to the Unmarked series. This is for my Black Hat Book Coven, and this was Laura's pick, and we will be having reading sprints actually tonight on my channel if you'd like to join us. I am about 50% of the way through this book, and I am really liking this book. We are following a witch whose coven leader has passed away, so now they are entering trials to find the new one, and she is an unmarked witch. She has no markings. In this world, all witches, when they receive spells, get a marking of the spell, kind of like a rune on their body. And she has spells, but her runes do not show. And everyone's like, what's going on? There is a Dark King who we obviously know is into her. And I feel like there's going to be an enemies to lovers romance here eventually. This is a trilogy. It is a completed trilogy. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a good time with it. I don't know about the other girls. I'll find out tonight how they're feeling. I know one girl has already completed it, and her response was, I completed it. Like, that was the response. So, I don't know. But this is a book that I felt like I would have picked up anyway on my own, so I'm having high hopes for it. But that's what I got for you for week 7. Those are what I've been working on reading. Yeah. So that's what I got for you guys, and I will see you guys all soon with another video. Bye, guys.